Welcome to the Ron Roberts Radio Show with Southeastern's head football coach, Ron Roberts, on the Southeastern Sports Radio Network. It's your chance to hear directly from the head of Lion football. The Ron Roberts Radio Show is sponsored by LA's First Choice Auto Auction, Track, Topola, Bloomberg & Associates, Mealy Printing, and the Crescent Bar. Now, live from Topola in downtown Hammond, here's Alan Waddell.
Well, Lion fans, this is the week we've been waiting for. 5 weeks ago, our Southeastern Lions sat with an 0-3 record, and after looking at the schedule, we all hoped Southeastern could win 5 in a row and set up a huge game with Sam Houston State. Well, over the last 5 weeks, the Lions have had the number one offense in the country and is arguably playing as well as anyone in the nation. During that time, the Lions have run off 5 in a row, including the last 2 on the road, to set up this weekend showdown with number 5, Sam Houston State in Hammond. Last week, our Lions walked into hostile territory as Abilene Christian hosted us for homecoming in front of a capacity crowd, and the Lions dominated the game, rushing for an eye-popping 443 yards on way to winning the game 56-21. Good evening, Lion fans. I'm Alan Waddell, and I want to welcome you to the Ron Roberts Radio Show, live from our home, Topola Catering, right here at 113 East Thomas Street in downtown Hammond. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll be with you until 8 o'clock. Over the next hour, we'll get Coach Roberts' thoughts on the big win against Abilene Christian, and then turn our attention to the big one this weekend as Sam Houston State comes to town. Also, linebackers coach Aaron Schwans is here, and we'll hear from him. Let's take a timeout. When we come back, I'll be joined by the head coach of your Southeastern Lions, Coach Ron Roberts. You're listening to Ron Roberts Radio Show on the Southeastern Sports Radio Network.
In Southeast Louisiana, one luxury automobile dealership stands apart from all the rest, Mercedes-Benz of New Orleans. It's more than just offering Mercedes-Benz vehicles, it's Star Service that prides itself on customer relationships.
From valet service and Mercedes-Benz loaner cars, our customers enjoy award-winning Star Service. Come see what Star Service is all about.
Visit Mercedes-Benz of New Orleans on Veterans in Metairie or at mbofno.com.
What does it mean to be Southland strong?
It's not just big wins.
It's success in the classroom and being engaged with service, family, passion, integrity,
overcoming adversity,
hard work and dedication,
bettering people around you,
striving for excellence,
leadership and competition
on our campuses,
and in our communities.
We are Southland strong.
Hi, Ayla Gazzardo, head coach women's basketball. Hope you're excited about our season. I know I am. Come get your season tickets now and line up.
All right, welcome back to the Ron Roberts Radio Show. Thank you so much for joining us here. Just getting underway tonight. We do this each and every Monday night from 7 to 8 o'clock as we talk Lion football. At this time of the show, we're going to welcome the head coach of your Southeastern Lions, Coach Ron Roberts. Coach, thanks for being here. Another big win this past week, 56-21 over Abilene Christian. That's 5 in a row for your club. Talk about this one a little bit.
Yeah, it was a good win. Obviously, tremendous environment. And they got a beautiful place over there, brand new stadium. They just opened up. They packed the house. It was awesome. It's always great to get go on a conference on the road and get a W. It was a tough first half, and Abilene again they played us tough. Thought we had some chances there probably to extend the lead and didn't there in the first half. But some of those credit to Abilene. They played really hard, and then I really thought the second half was more of a sack, so we kind of warmed down and made some huge plays there.
Coach, you look back over these last 5 games, it's been as impressive as anybody in the country. You were a favorite in all the games going into those 5, but you've really been dominant. Put up 49, 49, 49, 56, 56 in a row, putting up a lot of points offensively. I mean, how do you feel where your team is right now after winning these 5 in a row as we're about to hit the tough part of our schedule the last 3 of the season?
Yeah, I think we're continually getting better every week. We're getting more guys in the boat. We're getting more guys to play at the level we need them to play at. We're about as healthy as we've been all year. So all those things are positive signs. It'll be a tough one this week. We know that. They're number 5 in the country, arguably so. They're a great football team, and I think our guys obviously we're looking forward to the challenge and looking forward to especially getting them here in Strawberry Stadium. That will be a huge asset.
No doubt we're going to talk about Sam Houston State, obviously, for a majority of our show here today, as the Lions have a big one this weekend against the Bearcats. As Coach just said, number 5 team in the nation comes to Hammond this week. Also, the homecoming festivities, because they were moved due to the storm a few weeks ago against Incarnate Word, so most of the homecoming activities will be there this weekend as well. So it ought to be a great atmosphere for college football this weekend in Strawberry Stadium. Ron, I know you look at your team and the way they're playing right now has really been dominant over these last 5 weeks, and you start to get noticed a little bit nationally. You're getting votes now in both the polls, the Stats Top 25, also the Coaches Top 25. But I'm sure there's still some people out there that say, hey, they haven't. Who have they really beaten at this point? Because some of those teams don't have great records at this point. Well, when we're sitting here 0-3, you looked at the schedule and said, hey, you know what? We have an opportunity to get to 5-3 and make the back end of this schedule very interesting. And you've done that. You've set yourself up. So I know you got to be proud of the way your team has played over these last 5 weeks.
Yeah, I think, like I said, I thought our guys all along. I thought this group really, practiced well. They tried to do everything we asked them to do. They've got great work ethic, and like I said, I think the biggest process was to just make sure we're getting better throughout the season. But it's at this stage of the game, you play it and you coach it to play in a meaningful game in late October. I mean, this is what you do it for, and I told the rest of them on Sunday was if you got a heartbeat, you don't have a problem getting up for this one.
No doubt about it. A big game coming up this weekend as the Lions knocked off Abilene Christian last week, 56-21. You've been on the road this year a couple of times in some hostile environments. You look back at UL Lafayette, the first game of the year, then going up there and taking on Central Arkansas, and then. But this was maybe as tough as it's been. You're there for homecoming this past week for Abilene Christian. I think they had 14,000 in attendance, so it was a great test for your club. Looking at a lot of the stuff that was written up about this game, I think a lot of people around the Abilene program thought that they could beat your program when you came in there this weekend. So you went in there and had an exclamation point on this one and won in a very tough environment.
Yeah, it was. Like I said, it was a great environment. And they're a good football team. They played really well on defense coming up to the game. I was impressed with their quarterback on film coming up to the game. I thought we did a real good job of getting pressure on him, rattling him, and containing the run game. I was pleased with how we went about our business. But I'm again, you're waiting, the point to take the next step and find out how well we can play. And that's the beauty of playing people like this. I mean, when you play somebody, like when we played Central Arkansas, same thing. It didn't work out our way, but you got to relish those opportunities to play somebody that caliber, this team number 5 in the country. It's great. You're looking for the opportunity. How good can we play? Until you play those people, you don't really know. You're looking for somebody to push your buttons and bring out the best in you.
Ron, I know you've been coaching for a long time. I've had some really good offenses here at Southeastern since you've been in Hammond. Have you ever had a club playing at this high a level for a 5-game stretch, though? I mean, the number of points that we're putting up right now is really mind-boggling. Rushed for 443 yards this past week. It just seems like being able to do anything we want to do right now offensively.
Well, yeah. I mean, part of credit is, we're having success running the football. When you can do that, and you can do it week in and week out, it's going to open a lot of doors for a lot of things to happen. I'm real impressed probably with their stable running backs and how well we've got some other guys, and the guys that came along in the last few weeks. We've had some guys, Juice has been limited, and Eugene was limited for a couple weeks, but that gave Darren Johnson and Marcus Cooper a really chance to show what they're capable of doing, and they stepped to the plate, and they really, really impressed. And then, obviously Juice is healthier now, and he's going to go through all of his practices this week. The first time probably in 3 or 4 weeks that he's been able to do that. Gene's cast is coming off. Like I said, we got several linemen back, and then like I said, we're as healthy as we've been all season long. So I'm looking forward to us obviously playing our best football game.
Looking forward to it this weekend as Sam Houston State comes to town. I want to talk about Eugene for just a moment. He started out the year with a bang, had some big games right at the top of the season. He'd been banged up with that broken hand. Came back with a bang this one, and Abilene Christian had over 100 yards rushing. And I think that was one thing that that Abilene was impressed with by just listening to their commentators and the ones doing the games. They said, hey, Southeastern just keeps rolling running backs in there and rolling offensive linemen in there. Right now, the depth at those two positions is outstanding.
Yeah, it is. And, and obviously that's what you want to do is kind of, Brandon, we kind of set up, we the more guys we can do, we kind of wear people out. And that's what you want, You want it don't matter. You're continuously bringing in fresh legs. You're bringing in fresh offensive linemen. And then also been impressed, our receivers, when the number's been called, have stepped up and made some huge plays. I think Juwan Dickey made a couple of catches on Saturday. I mean, they weren't for maybe huge gains, but they're probably two most impressive catches. The ones on the sidelines, he makes two to move the sticks. Two catches that were just really impressive catches. And Austin Mitchell, again, showed the ability to stretch the field and make big plays. And I'm pleased with where we're going, but I still, we talk about all the time. Have we played our best? No, we haven't. So I'm looking forward to hopefully, we'll play our best this Saturday.
Abilene Christian went into this game defensively, one of the better teams in the Southland Conference against the run. Lions put up 443 yards rushing. That's the second most since football returned. The most was in 2015 on the road at Northwestern State. So a big number put up on the road this past week against Abilene Christian. Eugene Bethea, like I said, he led the way, 8 carries, 108 yards. Darren Johnson had 13 for 105. Lorenzo Nunez had over 100 yards rushing. It didn't show that way in the stat sheet because he had some sacks in there, and that counts against you in college football. But 3 touchdowns. And you would think, just from an outsider watching, that Lorenzo probably feels as good as he did back in week 1. He's running the football more than he had the last few weeks, and maybe some of his better runs of the season was this week against Abilene.
Yeah, well, he's been, he's still, working on getting completely healthy. He is right now. I mean, he's 100% now, and that was probably the first time was Saturday. First time he felt 100% and his ability, obviously, to run the football.
All right, well, let's go ahead and take a timeout. When we come back, we're going to talk more about this one as the Lions knocked off Abilene Christian 56-21. That's 5 in a row. They moved to 5-1 in the Southland Conference, 5-3 overall, right here on the Ron Roberts Radio Show on the Southeastern Sports Radio Network.
Renday's Quick Stop is a proud supporter of Southeastern Athletics. Located at 306 West University Avenue in Hammond, right across the street from campus. Renday's is conveniently open 24/7 and serves hot Greek and Lebanese food. They also have great snacks for those late-night study sessions. They have friendly service and a wide assortment of wine and beer for all your needs. Stop by today and line up.
Mealy Printing of Covington is a proud sponsor of Southeastern football. Mealy Printing is one of the largest commercial printing companies in the New Orleans, Baton Rouge metro areas. Currently celebrating 30 years of service to their customers and community, Mealy Printing offers both digital and offset printing. For more information on Mealy Printing, please visit mealyprinting.com or visit them at 619 North Tyler Street in Covington.
Remember, our philosophy is the answer is yes. So what's the questions? All right, Lion fans, let's line up.
All right, welcome back to the Ron Roberts Radio Show. Thank you so much for joining us, wherever you may be, as the Lions knocked off Abilene Christian this past week, 56-21, as the Lions moved to 5-3 overall, and more importantly, 5-1 in the Southland Conference, continuing one game behind UCA. Hoping they slip up. They do host McNeese State this weekend, so a lot can still happen in the Southland Conference race. There's no doubt about it. We want to thank everyone who came out here tonight, and also want to thank Topoli Catering for being our host each and every week. As Ron, let's talk about this game a little bit against Abilene Christian, talk about some of the big plays. And one thing I want to get you to comment on specifically before we get started is maybe the first time this year that the wind was really a factor in this game. Talk about that. I know there was some timeouts called on both sides trying to keep the wind at your back, and that's something you have to, especially when you're out there in West Texas, that wind gets whipping. I know the last time we were out there it was kind of the same situation, but talk about some of the challenges of coaching in those type of games.
Yeah, I mean, it probably, it was difficult to throw the ball into the wind. Obviously we took into account of that in the second quarter, we tried to throw the balls, when we could, and we knew that also in the third quarter too. Be able to throw it while we could. And the probably most challenging part is kickoffs. I think if you noticed, I think in the it was in the first quarter we didn't have the wind. First quarter we had our backs to we were kicking into the wind. So when we had to kick off, we tried to squib it a couple times there just to try to get the distance to get it back there because but obviously pregame when our guys kicked the ball into the wind, it was kind of hanging up there and coming down about the 30. And, so we were trying to get the distance, at least get the ball back there to, inside the 20. And so we squibbed it a couple times. And, there's little challenges with that because it doesn't fit up right and the blocks are all, even your coverage units are different and changing. I was real pleased, actually, when we punted into the wind. Ivy did a real nice job. I mean, he really, he had some nice punts into the wind. It was huge because that's always a concern. We debated about going rugby there. In the first quarter when we had to punt just because sometimes you can get the end over end and hopefully add the roll. But it's just something we hadn't done enough of at that point. We had practiced it, we worked on it a little bit, but haven't really repped it enough times to really feel comfortable about doing it. So just thought I'd go ahead and give them a chance to do that. But that's the biggest thing. All those things become questions in the wind, and it comes to factors, kickoffs, punts, throwing the football, and then obviously defending them because when they're going in the wind, they're gonna have trouble throwing the football. So it becomes a little different on your game plan there too. And then it does come in. Obviously, the clock management becomes different because you're trying to. Obviously, when you have the wind, you want to extend that quarter as long as possible. So you want to try to use your timeouts in the quarter when you have the wind to your back. So those are all obviously all big factors in those type of games.
You mentioned Ivy. I'll bring him up real quick. I thought he had maybe the last 2 weeks, maybe his best 2 games of the year. So he's really starting to hit the ball a lot better here as the year goes on.
He had a real nice sky punt going down, put the ball, I think, about the 4-yard line. That was real nice. He did there, and then like I said, the one was we only punted twice, but the one was into the wind, and then he really got about a 40-yarder off there, and just did a nice job driving it through the wind.
When you're scoring as many points as we've been scoring the last few weeks, you don't get a lot of opportunities to punt. And one thing that your team has done a really good job of, especially going on the road, has been starting pretty fast and getting ahead of teams. And that happened in this game as well. You go right down the field and score. Kind of a strange play. Looks like Lorenzo's going in for a touchdown, actually fumbles the football into the end zone, and Jawan Dickey jumps on it for a 7-0 lead. Not how you draw it up, but certainly nice to jump on top on the road.
Yeah, it was a nice drive and to start the thing off with. We had a little trouble there early, and actually, I don't know how much the wind was affecting the pitch also as well, but we pitched the ball twice and kind of slowed us down there, backed us up twice because we pitched the ball and it ends up being wild and gets on the ground. So it was affecting us early there, obviously as well. And there was a pass over in the first quarter on the right. Kind of threw it up on a deep ball, and it kind of caught it, made the ball flutter. And gets a little off target there, but. I thought it was a nice job opening drive, and we've done that several times lately, and that's important. We always talk about starting fast. It's not something you can really, obviously, sometimes you can control your own self, but you don't know what they're going to do. And it's tough, obviously, in Southland Conference, everybody's comes out ready to play, and a lot of times what you do when you're seeing those first couple of drives is people running, they're scheming you differently and running different things. So a lot of times usually it takes a couple of drives to figure out what they're trying to get done, what they're trying to do to you.
That's one thing I noticed in the run game this week is didn't have as much success on the perimeter as we had the last couple of weeks, maybe against Incarnate Word and Houston Baptist. And I know with the option game, you have plays. It's triple option, so a lot of times, so you have plays up the middle, then you can pull it, and then the quarterback can run or pitch the football. And was that they were trying to take away the perimeter a little more this week? And, it's kind of one of those pick your poison deal against when you're playing our offense right now?
No, to be honest, honestly, really, because we struggled the first two, and we pitched the ball on the ground twice. And so, I really put an end to it and just said we're not pitching the ball. So, I really feel that at that point, obviously in the game, I
Right.
felt we were better than them. The only thing we were going to do is the only thing that was going to stop us is us putting the ball on the ground, turning the ball over. So I just that really I kind of put a stop till at the fourth quarter when I said, hey, if we want to work on it, let's go pitch it.
Ron, was it a little surprising there in the first half? They ran the ball pretty effectively there in the first half. I know they came into this game struggling a little bit running the ball. I know they had a running back go over 100 yards in this game. Was that a little surprising, concerning after that?
No, there was a couple runs we did misfit there early, and then in the first half, I made a couple mistakes on fitting some things. He gets the run late, after the game's kind of out of hand, and he gets a bit of a 70-yarder that kind of pushes the stats over, but makes it. I really thought we played well. There's a couple things obviously in the first half. We turned a couple of receivers loose. That was obviously concerning more than anything. But again, I thought they did some nice things actually running the ball. They came up with a couple different ways to get the ball, and get the ball, get us number, get us formation to where you can get the ball ran.
The cake just came out. You got to
I know, so I kind of stuttered there a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mouth watering,
Ron, about midway through this game, it was 14-10. They had taken advantage of a couple of short fields, like you mentioned. They had a short field on the first kickoff because of trying to do some things with into the win, and then we had the turnover. So you look up, it's 14-10 there midway through the second quarter. This was a close football game, especially through the first half.
Yeah, again, I thought that we gave them a short field there on the one, and then we fumbled the ball when they take it in for 7. So I thought we were playing well. Obviously, if we don't do those type of things, we don't put the ball on the ground, we don't turn the ball over and stuff. And then the one short we're going to kick was just really because we're trying to squib it, something we haven't done a whole lot of. He tried to top it a little too much, and he doesn't kick it very well. And they pick it up about the 30, so they end up getting the ball at the 50-yard line. So some of that was just field position there because I think he kicked a 47-yarder or something like that, 45-yard field goal for the 3. Which was pretty nice, which we tried. Actually, we thought, and I felt pretty good about it. We attempted I'm going to say it was 52 yards there in the second quarter when we had the wind to our back, and he had the distance, just kind of get a little off target.
Yeah, it certainly did. As Dylan Burkhardt has certainly had a nice year kicking the football. He's remained perfect on extra points so far through the season. Ron, let's talk through the sequence right before the half. That it looked like they were content going into the locker room. We called a couple of timeouts trying to get an opportunity for a return or a block. We ended up roughing the kicker.
Yeah.
Talk about that sequence a little bit there right before the half.
Yeah, I thought we were going to get, like I said, when you got the win, I thought, heck, we were going to have a shot at a 50-yard field goal. So, with 40 seconds, and you got to move the ball about 20 yards, you're going to have a chance to get some points on the board before the half. And so we called timeout, and then we go up to the punt. Thought we really had an opportunity to block the punt because we got close to the one before, and a guy got free and just missed the ball. His hands were not off, and didn't see the ball off the foot and time it upright. So he gets the guy. They obviously get the automatic first down there.
They run a little slip screen, get it down inside to make it an easier field goal opportunity. End up making the field goal. So you go into the locker room, it's a pretty tight ball game, 21-13. It's a one-possession game. You get the ball to start the second half. You remained aggressive, though, going into the second half. I know we had a 4th down on that first possession, decided to go for it, got it, and then got down inside the goal line. You decided to go for it on fourth and 1. Right now, and convert for the touchdown, like you mentioned, that little short pass to Dickey. Made a great catch, kind of bobbled it, and got his feet in. You just seem like you have a lot of confidence what you're doing offensively right now, but you got to have confidence in your defense as well if you're going for it on 4th down in those situations.
And I felt pretty good about things again, but obviously I thought that we got to put our kids in those situations also. I felt pretty control of the ball game right there. I thought we were controlling both lines of scrimmage. I thought we were going to be fine, but I thought really that we've got to be put in those situations of 4th down and go for it and have success.
Ron, when we've seen your teams, championship-level teams here for Southeastern, you always had a lot of depth and really dominate games in the second half. We saw that this week. I think that was the big difference in this game is in the third quarter, you come out and you just pull away from those guys and make this kind of out of reach. It goes from 21-13 to 35-13 really quickly, and then you get it all the way to 56-13 at one point, and just doing a lot of it with the running game. I know you got to be proud of the way your team's able to do that and be able to roll out there and dominate second halves.
Yeah, I thought at halftime there were some things that obviously we had to clean. We thought we needed to clean some things up. And our guys were fresh. I mean, they felt pretty good. Especially it's the difference when you go out there and it's a beautiful day, but there's no humidity. Our guys felt like they could run forever. And so really at halftime we felt pretty fresh about it. I mean, our guys in the locker room, we had played a lot of guys in the first half. So our guys were, I thought across the board and everything, our guys felt like, they were ready to start another 4 quarters. And so really felt coming out there in the second half that our guys had a little different energy and ready to go and excited about, how we took care of business in the third quarter.
No doubt, Lions dominated the second half of this game. If you're just joining us, Lions rushed for 443 yards in this game against Abilene Christian. Moved up to number 2 in the nation in rushing the football. We're going to give you some more of those statistics throughout the broadcast because a big one this week, just kind of a teaser, as Lions are going to take on Sam Houston State. It's the number 2 scoring offense in the nation versus the number 5 scoring offense in the nation. We'll be battling this weekend in Strawberry Stadium. Ron, quickly, a couple of more minutes here on this game against Abilene Christian. For the 5th week in a row now, you've been able to get a lot of guys in the game. We saw some young freshmen come in and get some. We saw DeMonte Hall with a very nice run in this game as well. Also, Byron Walker continues to impress when he's gotten his opportunities. His passing rating's got to be. It's incredible. He's like 2 for 2 for like 895 yards and 2 touchdowns. He comes in. His first pass of the game is a perfect pass over the top to Marcus Cooper. But you just continuing to get these guys opportunities to impress and opportunities to create more depth.
Yeah, and it's good for our young guys to do that. But because that really you're trying to build a program for the future and make sure you're going to continue to have success. Those things are always important, that you guys take care of business so those guys can get quality playing time.
I noticed there in the third quarter especially. You had the win in the third quarter, am I correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. In weeks before, when we got out to a bigger lead, you had gotten Lorenzo out of there maybe a little earlier. Did you leave him in a little longer because you wanted to get him a couple of series with that wind at his back throwing the football?
Well, yeah, we wanted to throw the football, but also he just needs game experience. We went a couple weeks in a row where he basically played a half, and that's not really good for his development, And I'll be honest, if I could have gone back, I would have left him in longer probably in the 2 previous games, just because he needs to stay in there and continue to play. The game's out of hand, but he needs the reps, so he can be at his best.
Is some of those decisions, though, because he did have the injury earlier?
He did have the injury for a point, and at that point we're still trying to make sure we get Byron enough that we feel comfortable with Byron in there to make sure, again, if something happened to him, if he did go down, we will make sure that our backup is ready to go.
Ron, I got to ask you just because, I'm sure there's some people that say, hey, they're throwing the football there in the third quarter up pretty big. Are we running the score up or anything like that? I've been around you a long time. I know you don't do those types of things. We take a knee at the 2-yard line to end the game.
Yeah.
But, anytime you play someone and you blow them out, you get people that say things.
Right. Oh, well, it was in the third quarter or whatever it was, but Byron comes in. We got same thing. I really felt we were 2 weeks in a row that we bring Byron in, and we didn't throw the football. Well, we're kind of hampering his development, and we're hampering the guys that are coming in. Ideas, they've got to get those reps too. They've got to get the reps executing the offense and being able to do those things. And if not, you kind of fall behind on one side of it. And so, and try not to throw it much, but a couple of them were there for us, and he needed to make the throws.
And he made perfect throws. On both of them. So, the young man goes in there, had a 54-yard touchdown pass to Marcus Cooper, and then a 40-yard touchdown pass to Austin Mitchell. A couple of young guys, all freshmen in those sentences. So guys that we're going to see for a long time here playing for Southeastern. And again, another nice game for Marcus Cooper. We saw him do a few different things. He didn't have maybe the long run in this game, but
he had some nice runs.
He did. And one specifically I remember on a 4th down. Mm-hmm. And maybe the question is, he's not the biggest guy. Can he run in between the tackles on short yardage? And we saw him do that a couple of times this week.
Yeah, he can. He's a tough kid, and he can run. He's got good vision, and he sticks the ball up in there hard. So he makes up for it.
Ron, we'll kind of wrap this game up here as we're going to talk to Coach Schwans and then start talking more about Sam Houston State. But I'll get you kind of maybe your final thoughts on this game a little bit. Some guys that had big performances maybe we didn't touch on. And defensively, I want you to talk more defensively. I know you had some question marks going in this game because their quarterback was athletic. Yeah. He was one of the top passers in the league. Talk about overall performances in this game.
Yeah, I thought we did a good job on that. We limited under 300 yards offense. I thought that, again, we really limited his ability to throw the football. I think they had 110 10 yards passing or something. And so I think I was proud of also our secondary as well, but obviously the pressure we got on him. Individually, you know, I thought Lee Spike played a great game, probably his best game just overall. Played really well in this one. Obviously, you mentioned a couple of guys. You know, so when we gave our award, obviously defensively we get Lee Spike got the Player of the Game award, and offensively we gave it to 3 inside guys because they played so well together. Michael Vick, Shaq McClain, and Jermaine Jones, the 3. You know, the 2 guards in the center, they got the most majority of the reps. We gave all 3 of them the Offensive Player of the Week award. So, you know, that was huge. And then Special Teams Player of the Week went to, Max Lyons. Yeah. He had a couple nice returns, but we had to make a couple guys miss there to get to the wall. Really, one of them was really impressive, just his determination to make sure he got there, and just kind of really stuck with it to make sure he got to the wall to get the return down the sidelines.
He had a long return call back, didn't he? In this game? I'm sorry.
He had the one on our sidelines. Oh yeah, when we roughed the punter, he returned
that's
about
what
50.
It was.
Yeah,
I knew when we roughed the. Okay,
yeah,
that's what
nice
it was. It
too.
was a great return in this game. He's been electric when
Yeah.
makes you hold your breath a little bit back there catching the football. He'll field it in some tough situations, but he's been pretty good. And I know he's a guy that you really trust back there.
Yeah, and that's what it is. I mean, really, you know, we do all the calculations and stuff, but you know, it's really worth a ton of hidden yardage if he'll catch the ball and not let the ball bounce around. You know, and the NFL talks about the stats is that a guy that catches the ball all the time is worth an 800-yard rusher. Really, when they calculate it throughout the season, all the hidden yards you miss.
Right.
And that's pretty devastating when you think about it. You know, so
you're talking about just the ability to run up and field the football and not let it bounce.
Football and not let the ball bounce and stuff. Because a lot of guys get in those traffic, they get a little nervous and stuff, and they get out of there and let the ball bounce and. You know, and then they're getting 15 yards here, 15 yards. You know, you start adding those things up, 10, 15 yards a crack, and then over a season, it becomes a lot of yardage.
Ron, I'm going to give you a chance to comment on this as well. You held them to 2 of 14 on third down. Really been the last few weeks, especially, been getting off the field on third down. And I know that's going to be big this week against a very good offense against Sam Houston State.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. I mean, last couple weeks we've been really good on the third down, getting off. And that goes to credit, though, really, it starts with the first down, you know. It's a lot easier to get off on third down when it's 3rd and 8, you know.
Right.
And everybody in the place knows it's going to be a pass, and here we go, you know, and everybody's teed up, go rush the quarterback, and everybody's playing pass. So it's important that you do your business early in the downs and make sure first and second you're taking care of business. Put them in third down, you got a little better chance of getting off.
All right, Lions knock off Abilene Christian 56-21. They move to 5-1 in the Southland Conference. That's 5 in a row for your Southeastern Lions. Let's go ahead and take a break. When we come back, we're going to have more right here on the Ron Roberts Radio Show on the Southeastern Sports Radio Network.
In Southeast Louisiana, one luxury automobile dealership stands apart from all the rest. Mercedes-Benz of New Orleans. It's more than just offering Mercedes-Benz vehicles. It's Star Service that prides itself on customer relationships.
From valet service and Mercedes-Benz loaner cars, our customers enjoy award-winning Star Service. Come see what Star Service is all about.
Visit Mercedes-Benz of New Orleans on Veterans in Metairie or at mbofno.com.
Mealy Printing of Covington is a proud sponsor of Southeastern football. Mealy Printing is one of the largest commercial printing companies in the New Orleans, Baton Rouge metro areas. Currently celebrating 30 years of service to their customers and community, Mealy Printing offers both digital and offset printing. For more information on Mealy Printing, please visit mealyprinting.com or visit them at 619 North Tyler Street in Covington.
Remember, our philosophy is the answer is yes. So what's the questions? All right, Lion fans, let's line up.
Across divisions, sports, championships, and schools, for nearly 500,000 student athletes, college sports create lifelong opportunity, and that starts with education. We've raised the academic bar, so more are earning degrees, creating healthier campuses by working with the nation's brightest minds, and making sure more have the chance to succeed and are supported on their journey. But beyond the numbers, it's about opportunity, and we're working to provide it for every student athlete.
All right, welcome back to Topline Catering, over halfway home here on the Ron Roberts Radio Show. Thank you so much for joining us. Lions coming off a big win, 56-21 this past week against Abilene Christian, moving the record to 5-3 overall, 5-1 in the Southland Conference, and sets up a big game this week as number 5 Sam Houston State comes to Hammond this weekend. I want to give a couple little housekeeping points here for just a moment. I know I've had a lot of people ask, and I'll announce this over the next 20 minutes or so a few times. But the parade, the homecoming parade, is at 2 o'clock this week, and the Lion Walk will be at 4:30. I know a lot of people have been asking. I believe they are shutting down Friendship Circle at 12 o'clock, so no cars will be able to enter after 12 o'clock. So you want to get out there early. It ought to be a great day for college football, no doubt, as number 5 comes to town. At this time, we're going to welcome to the show linebackers coach Aaron Schwanz. Also, he has special teams behind his name. Coach Schwanz, thanks for spending some time with us. I know this is your 4th year now here at Southeastern, and certainly playing pretty well over these last 5 weeks.
Yeah, no, it's been good to be able to set ourselves up and put ourselves in position, come down the line here at the end of the season and playing some, big ball games, and look forward to the challenge that we got coming here to Hammond this weekend. Coach
Schwanz, obviously we're going to get Coach Roberts to talk about this here when he comes back up, but a big challenge this weekend as Sam Houston State comes to town. I'm going to talk to you about your linebacker crew for in just a moment, but I know if you're a good college program and you're good on special teams, everybody gets involved, but you have the slash with special teams behind your name. So I'm going to let you talk a little bit about special teams and some of the things that have happened here over the first 8 weeks. Really cleaned up kick coverage as covering kicks pretty well. And then we mentioned Max Lyons in the return game, Jawan Petit-Ferrer, number 1 in the nation in kickoff returns. So special teams has been certainly a strong point for the Lions here in 2017.
Yeah, we've had a lot of highs, had some lows, but I think the biggest thing is I think everybody kind of knows how important it really is. You talk about being a championship caliber program, and and looking at it in the off season, you talk about who's won this conference and who's had a lot of success, and it's came down to special teams and finishing in that top 1 to 2 in the conference. We put a lot of focus on it this year, and I think the biggest thing is not only do our kids know how important it is, but a lot of them want to help, and we've had a lot of kids that have made plays and assumed roles and gotten better and really bought in, and they want to help in any way possible. And we've had a lot of kids, and we're blessed, and that kind of came together and been able to capitalize on the return units and things like that, and really change the game for us a little bit.
Coach, 2 years ago, when we had a chance to talk to you going into the 2016 season, we talked about the linebacker crew having a lot of new faces and a lot of guys that hadn't had a lot of experience. But going into this year, a lot of experience in that group. I want you to talk about, first of all, Sione. I know that he gets a lot of publicity. I mean, he's one of the top guys in the nation in sacks and tackles for loss. Talk about his progression from a year ago to now and what kind of player he has become.
Well, it's pretty obvious to see, even you watching the games, how talented he is and, the amount of ability he has. But I think he's putting a lot of work in. He came here, right before the season last year. And, this year, in the offseason, he really focused on being able to move around, play multiple different positions, whether it's on the ball as an outside linebacker, as a stack backer, moving inside. We're moving him around and things like that to be able to obviously attack matchups and, utilize his skill and his talent and, really the way that he plays. So
I know that when he was at LSU, he played mostly with his hand on the ground, and now that he's come here, he's been more of an outside linebacker and moving around, and certainly he's having an All-American caliber season here in 2017, and he'll be a guy that we're counting on this weekend against Sam Houston to make some plays as well. But I want to talk about some of your other guys too. Jake Giannone has really taken over that center of the field position. Man, I think he's had an outstanding year so far.
Yeah, the thing about Jake is it's so important to him. He loves football, and he knows his main role is to be the quarterback of the defense and communicate, get people lined up and in the right position, whether it's a tip or anything that can help anybody else from a tendency factor. He does a lot of things pre-snap. I think not only for the room but for the defense, and he loves that role, and he's been kind of relishing in it. And he's a fast player, and he plays at the right tempo, and that's really putting him in position.
I don't think there's any doubt. I think he's had a fantastic year. We saw it kind of at the end of last year. We came off of his injury. He has really turned it up a notch here in 2017. I think that's really good to see. You talked about Lee Spite. Had a great game this past week against Abilene Christian. And one thing about your group, again, and it seems like you can talk about every position group on Southeastern's roster right now, and this is something I know that Coach Roberts really believes in, with a lot of depth. We're seeing a lot of guys get in there and make plays every week.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's at the end of the day, we say, opportunities multiply as they are seized, and you get the opportunity to shine, and you get in there in a package, and you get an opportunity to make a play. You got to make it, and we've been fortunate enough at a lot of different positions, offense, defense, special teams, to have them assume those roles and come in and make an impact, and that always helps the entire football team out.
The last couple of weeks, it seems like you've really gone to. Y'all have gone defensively to maybe a package that you go to when you're really trying to rush the passer. Talk about that a little bit.
Sure. Well, I mean, we're just trying to get after the quarterback and affect the quarterback. I think, the biggest thing is, like Coach Roberts alluded to, you get ahead of the chains and you get yourself in good position. We always say you stop the run and then you want to go have some fun and get after the quarterback. And, it's such an important in any league, but especially this one, it's a quarterback-driven league. And, you want to be able to affect the quarterback, whether that's getting a sack or disrupting time in batting a football, whatever it is, you want to make them obviously worry about taking care of the ball.
We're talking with Coach Schwans, linebacker coach here for Southeastern. Thanks again for spending some time with us. We have a few minutes left here for you. I want to ask you, one guy that I think that has jumped out to me, and he has played a lot this year for your team, is Tamarcus Russell. I know he's a newcomer out of the junior college rank. He's not the biggest guy in the world. He wears number 42. He's 5'10". But, man, he just seems like he's all over the field, really athletic guy. And I just, from an outsider, from a fan, I would think in a game like this where they're going to try to put us in a lot of positions where we have to play in space, he's a guy that really could be counted on this week.
Yeah, I mean, we always say your value to the defense is where you are in proximity to the football at the end of the play. And one thing about him is he is around the football, wherever that thing is, whether it's on the perimeter. I think he has great range. For being an undersized kid, he's very good in the box, but he also does have range to be able to cover from numbers to numbers. And we've been seeing a lot of perimeter runs and things like that, and he's been able to track the ball, play in the inside hip, and make plays on the perimeter as well. So he's been a very positive aspect of the defense.
For the rest of our program, we're going to pretty much focus on Sam Houston. I know that this is a team that we haven't played the last couple of years. The last time we played them was in 2014 in the playoffs. It is the same coaching staff, but they do look a little different offensively. This is one of the top offensive teams in the country. What do they do offensively to really put pressure on you as a defensive unit?
Well, they're just tremendously efficient. I think the quarterback gets a lot of notoriety, and the receivers get a lot of publicity for all the yards that they throw. But one thing I think that kind of slides under the radar is they run the football a lot too. I mean, they're averaging, whatever it is, 190 some yards on the ground as well. And I think they're very good at taking what defenses give them, and obviously running the ball when they have a good look, and throwing the football and taking advantage of matchups on the perimeter and things like that when those present itself. So, anytime an offense is at a high level like that, they're making good decisions and calculated and being efficient with the football. And at the end of the day, we got to be able to pick our opportunities and be able to minimize that.
Well, Coach, I would imagine they're all important. But you get into coaching for weeks like this when you get an opportunity to face one of the best teams in the country as they come down here and take on a good opponent.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's it is a big game, but at the end of the day, we've been all in here for the last 5-6 weeks here. So the biggest thing is just obviously playing within yourself, understanding you got to do your job. I think probably the biggest gain that we've had in the last 5 weeks here is just playing team defense and knowing where our help is and working together, and not a lot of people doing a lot of things out of the ordinary or out of their job description. And I think anytime you're talking about defense and things like that and stopping the run and being able to limit some big play opportunities in the pass game, you got to be able to have that. You got to have selfless players, people that obviously are in it for the betterment of the defense and the team, as opposed to just individual accolades.
Coach Aaron Schwans, linebacker coach, also special teams coordinator here for Southeastern Louisiana. Thanks for spending some time with us. Good luck this week against the Bearcats.
Great, thank you.
All right, let's take a timeout. We come back. Coach Roberts will be back on the mic, and we're going to talk about Sam Houston State right here on the Ron Roberts Radio Show on the Southeastern Sports Radio Network.
Rendays Quick Stop is a proud supporter of Southeastern Athletics. Located at 306 West University Avenue in Hammond, right across the street from campus. Rendays is conveniently open 24/7 and serves hot Greek and Lebanese food. They also have great snacks for those late-night study sessions. They have friendly service and a wide assortment of wine and beer for all your needs. Stop by today and line up.
Hey Lion fans, this is Coach Jay Ladner, head men's basketball coach here for your Southeastern Louisiana Lions. I want to remind everybody, get out and get your season tickets. We've got a great season coming up. Line up.
NCAA Division I FCS football is a game of perseverance, integrity, passion, character, and sportsmanship. As he works to honor the game, every FCS student-athlete grows in his responsibilities as a student and as a member of his campus and community. Dedicated to personal growth and success in the classroom, the NCAA Division I FCS, every down, every day.
All right, welcome back to the Ron Roberts Radio Show here from Topoli Catering. As we have about 10 minutes left to go on our show, as Coach, we're going to spend the remainder of our program on the Sam Houston State Bearcats as Coach Roberts comes back here to the microphone. And Coach, this is obviously a very good program. They've been the best program in the Southland Conference over the last 6 years. I was trying to do some homework on the Bearcats as I was getting ready for tonight's show. 5 out of the last 6 years, they've won at least 11 games. And the 1 year that didn't was in 13 when we actually knocked them out of the playoffs. And it's hard to believe, but the last time that we played Sam Houston was in the playoffs in 2014 over there in at Sam Houston at Bowers. We lost 21-17. It was a great college football game. The last time that they were in Hammond was in the playoffs December 7th, 2013, and we won that game 30-29. So, man, we've had some really good games with Sam Houston since you've been here at Southeastern.
Yeah, and they're a great program. Got a lot of respect for them. And Coach Kidder's done some great things, I think last year they lost the quarterfinals. Year before that, lost the semifinals. They're a really good football team. I think they're 5 right now. They started out at one point, they were number 2 in the country, and I think one point they maybe were number 1.
I think that they did.
So they've got a bunch.
Not this year. Not this year. They got number 1.
Okay.
No, James Madison's been number 1 all the way.
And then they've got some really great players, and they do some things that are a little different. The way that they're throwing the ball, and they're a good football team all the way around.
Ron, I think one of the interesting matchups is going to be maybe one of the national storylines is. They're number 2 in the nation in total offense at this point. We're number 5. So 2 of the top offenses in the country. We get it done in different ways. They're number 2 passing the football. We're number 2 rushing the football. If you look at the stats, they're actually eerily similar. What they're averaging passing per game and we're averaging rushing per game is almost identical. And then the other way around, as what we're averaging passing the football, what they're averaging rushing the football. They have a very good quarterback. He's a senior, Jeremiah Briscoe. He's 3rd in the nation right now in passing. He's thrown for 2,500 yards and 22 touchdowns and 7 interceptions. And I think one of the things that jumps out to me is as much as they throw the football, they don't get sacked very much. They get the ball out of their hand pretty quickly. Talk about this offense. This is an air raid type offense, the challenges that comes with stopping those guys.
Yeah. What they do, and a lot of it is around quick. They do an RPO game. It's a run pass option, which, basically most majority of snaps he's got the ball, he's got an option to either, there's a run element to it, or if he gets the right read, he's throwing the football. And obviously, it's usually pretty calculated. It's down to where it's if you got the right trigger man, it's most of the time you don't guess wrong. You put the offense in the best particular situation every snap. And he's just I think what makes it go is he's a really talented quarterback. He can. He's got a great arm, and he's probably gonna be an NFL quarterback. He's going to get his opportunity to get in somebody's camp next year. But then also they've got some really talented skill people. I don't know names as well, but 81 and 14, and number 9's been around the conference for a long time. Last time we played him, I think he was a freshman. Then I guess.
Yep.
What was that?
Yedidiah Lewis, and he's been hurt.
Yeah.
And
it was a sophomore. He was a freshman in 14. We played him in the playoffs over there. But a freshman in. Is that right? 14, 15, 16? Yeah, okay, yeah, okay.
Good math.
That's bad, isn't it? He was a freshman over there in 14 last time we played him, and he's an incredible career. He's been outstanding. He's a great player. He's been hurt the last couple weeks, and he's supposed to be healthy and back, and he's supposed to play against us Saturday. He's number 9, and so I said 81, 14, and 9, and then they got some really talented tailbacks too as well.
And Coach Schwann's just mentioned it as well. I think that's one thing that maybe gets lost a little bit is the fact that they do run the football well, and they kind of soften you up for the pass, and then they'll rip a 65, 70-yard run off on you.
Yeah, they've got the most talented, skilled people that we've seen. They got a couple running backs that do it, but they're very dangerous in space.
Briscoe won the Walter Payton a year ago, which is the FCS Heisman Trophy. So they're the second player in Southland Conference history to win the Payton Award. So a very good offense coming in on defensively. They have P.J. Hall. We all probably remember what he did in 14 as a freshman. He was outstanding against us over there in that playoff matchup. He was suspended a couple of games earlier this year, but since he's come back, has played really well. And I know he's always a force, and you have to know where he is on every snap. Kind of like Sione for us. Yeah. It's kind of the same for him. You have to know where he lines up.
Yeah, he's a dangerous player. He's the 2-time Conference Defensive Player of the Year. Very impressive. He's extremely explosive up front, defensive lineman. And, he is. You got to know where he's at in run game, and you got to know where he's at on the pass game as well. Because, he's another one. He'll be in somebody's camp. He'll be playing in the NFL.
Ron, again, while I was kind of doing some research for this game, and the way the conference is right now, where teams fall off your schedule for a couple of years, we had really built a nice little rivalry. I thought a healthy rivalry with Sam Houston State. These games always had high stakes. They were great matchups. You look back at 13, we played them twice in Strawberry Stadium, once in the regular season, once in the playoffs, and knocked them off both times. And then in 14, we go over there in the first round of the FCS playoffs and play a great football game. They end up going to the semifinals, so it was two of the better teams in the country going at it that day, 21-17. So I know there's a lot on the line this weekend, but it's nice to have them back on the schedule whenever you get to play, the best that the conference has to allow.
Oh, no doubt. And they're a great football team, and they're a great program, and they've been a great school, and they've been a great representative of Southland Conference, and it's great to have them back on our schedule. I mean, I think you always want to play the best in your conference. You want to play them every year. It's nice to have them back on our conference schedule, and looking forward to this matchup.
7 o'clock kickoff this weekend, and I asked Coach Schwanz, I'll ask you the same question. I mean, I'm sure for your players, these are the type of games that you look forward to as an athlete, as a coach. I mean, this is what juices you up. I'm sure getting ready for these type of matchups with a good team coming in here this weekend.
Yeah, and it should be a great football game. I said, it's hard to get juiced up every week to play. I mean, it just doesn't really happen. You got use about 2 or 3 of them in a year that you can really. I'm talking about when your kids on an emotional level play higher, than usual. I would imagine this is going to be one of them.
We look forward to that this weekend. Coach, we got a couple of questions that came here, and I asked the coach. We'll get to these quickly before we get out of here, so we have about 5 minutes left to go on our show. Coach, first of all, Pete from Pumpkin Center says, Coach, Branson Schwabel seems to be getting more involved offensively. How can you use him as a big weapon in these next 3?
Well, yeah. No, I mean, he does. He's a big target, especially in the passing game as well. He's doing an excellent job in the running game. One of the things, obviously, that slowed him down because we were using him pretty good. And in the last 2 weeks, I don't know if everybody knows, but Branson's been nursing an ankle. He rolled his ankle 3 weeks ago. So that's why we probably hasn't got as much in the passing game in the last couple of weeks. But obviously he's a huge target. Got great hands. Does a great job there. So he's a big threat down the middle, spreading the field. And we've hit him a couple of times, but probably not as many times as we'd liked. And but he like I talk about being healthy. He's good and he's as good as he was at the beginning of the year.
Ron, Seth from New Orleans says, Coach, Abilene Christian's coach in the post-game interview said, we need to remember this game because that's how we want to look as a program. What does that say about our offseason program? What they're referring to is after the game, Coach Doral for Abilene Christian actually said, we told our guys after the game to look at Southeastern because that's what we want to look like physically if we're going to get to a championship level program.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate that, obviously, on his part. It's a great compliment to our young man. Our guys are, I think we have a great off-season program. I think we have a tremendous strength program. And that really lends value to the development of young men. And some of it goes into recruiting. Yeah, you want to be big, you got to recruit big kids. But I think one of the things, again, is that we've had so much success, up front and those things is because of what our time, our commitment, our kids have put in the weight room and what they're doing in there. And like I said, right now we're probably stronger when we came in the season. Our kids are doing a great job right now in the weight program. We kind of told that because I do believe that. I think it's teams that get stronger throughout the season win late in the year. So our guys we put the time in the weight room, and I think it's helping us stay healthy, but helping us be more physical up front.
Coach Stacy from Macomb says, Coach, what specific position on defense is put under the most pressure with this air raid offense of Sam Houston?
No doubt our secondary is going to be tested. They've got some incredible wide receivers. I think I'm going to say 3 of them are returning all-conference players last year. And they're extremely talented, and obviously they're going to be put to the test because they're going to throw it 45, 50 times, and versus an NFL quarterback. So definitely that. I mean, it's going to be a challenge for everybody across the board because it just for our fans looking at it, you're going to see the test is going to be put on the DBs, but it really is spread across the board because it comes down to our front about how well we're going to rush the quarterback, how well we're going to execute pressures, how well can we defend the underneath passing game and alleviate, not put those DBs on islands. Can we give them some help underneath so it doesn't become just a one-on-one game down the field? And it's going to, ideally for us, that pressure needs to go across the board to all 11. Anybody steps on the field.
This is one of those shows we could have gone all night. We have so much to talk about here tonight, but we are out of time. Thank you so much for joining us. As Ron, good luck this weekend against a very good Sam Houston team comes in here, and we look forward to watching your team play this weekend.
Good. Looking forward to see everybody in Strawberry Stadium.
Once again, 2 o'clock is the parade, 4:30 is the Lion Walk, kickoff at 7 o'clock. The game will be televised on ESPN3, but I'll tell you, I'm going to be out of town. I'm flying back in to catch kickoff for this game, so make sure you're there this weekend. It'll be a great night for college football. It's going to be a great week to be a Lion. It's officially Sam Hate Week right here in Hammond, Louisiana. For Coach Ron Roberts, I'm Alan Waddell. We'll see you next time right here on the Ron Roberts Radio Show on the Southeastern Sports Radio Network.